Sometimes dead is better.
Oh, hi. Hey, hold the phone here. Look here, boys, it's February, and this is my month, bitches. Good evening, listeners, and welcome to Give Me Back My Horror Movies. My name is Pete, and the Mo and Larry to my curly. Welcome, Charlie and Nate. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you? Woo! Exactly. Good evening. And this is still February. It is still my month. I welcome all to come on in and give us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you. But tonight is a horror movie this evening. And I know Nate wants to buy me a dictionary, but I have my reasons for this. Tonight, we are getting the independent, extremely low budget film, One Cut of the Dead. This is from Japan, 2017, and it made its way through some independent circuits and made its way around the world. And on a budget of $25,000, it made well over 30 million bucks worldwide. That in itself deserves to be on the month of Pete. So I'm getting some dour looks at my co-hosts.
No,
Good evening,
no,
gentlemen.
no.
This is
no
actually the
dower.
most charming part of the movie.
Yeah.
This is
Wow.
actually a very, very cool portion to learn. I mean, in the U.S. alone, it made 52,000. So
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah, and it was
yeah,
a
it's the little
low
movie
budget
that
indie.
could.
Yeah. The little
Yep.
it did.
Now,
It's on
now,
Shutter
Pete,
right now. No.
you did say that
Yes.
you need a dictionary, which you do. You do. We're gonna have to go over this because you promised Power
I'm
Rangers.
gonna put you in the trunk if
That
you
didn't
get off board here.
and so that's gonna be coming soon. But for anyone that has not seen this movie and you're like me wanting to eventually watch it and you just haven't, spoiler warning ahead. Don't listen to this episode if you do want to watch the movie.
Oh no,
Do
no.
not listen to this episode.
Stop right now.
unless
Go watch
you
it. It's
want to
on
watch
Shutter. It's
Yeah.
it's worth your time to watch this movie. But stop right now and we'll give you let's give him 10 seconds to shut it off and go watch the movie and come back.
Go
okay?
do your thing. Go get a coffee break. Whatever you want to do. After you watch the movie, come back because
Please.
I would just feel completely guilty to rob you of the
Yes.
experience. So
Mhm.
turn us off.
We put the spoiler out. So everyone, spoiler. So there we go, gentlemen. And they can pause. They can bring us back. And ba-doom.
Okay. That is your spoiler warning. Those of you who have stuck around or have come back, thank you so very much. Once again,
Maybe
this
those
is
who
one.
don't care.
right. There is that.
That's
One
right.
Cut of the Dead, 2017. Nate, you're 100% correct. This isn't necessarily a horror movie. This is a movie about making a horror movie. And while the second act of this movie is really just a whole big lead up to the third act, I think there is a lot of value in this movie to watch. It is an absolute blast. I know we don't walk through the movie, but
No.
maybe we'll just do a brief synopsis of Act 1, 2, and 3.
Well, what I was thinking was just like we talk about Act 1,
Yeah.
at least Act 2,
Mhm.
with it being Act 3. But I got things to say.
Okay, well let's dive into Act 1.
Yeah.
Once again, we don't really walk through the film, but I'm going to tell you straight at the start
Act
of this.
1 is the shittiest zombie movie I've ever seen.
But it's a 37-minute one shot.
Which it did take me about 5 to 6 minutes to figure out, oh shit, this is all being one shot.
And
it's one shot without edits. Like it is a true
That's
definition of one shot.
a true one shot. There
Well,
are no
like
cuts
that
at all.
World War One movie 1917 is technically a one shot, but it has clever edits to make
Yeah.
it
True.
where you
There
know
was
where
a
the scene has ended.
The Rope by Alfred Hitchcock was a spiritual one shot. There were 3 cuts in that movie, and they're really cleverly edited in and out. But
Yeah.
this is 37 minutes of nonstop shooting, and I think what was it? Did anybody else read that this took them like 4 takes or 4 days and 6 takes or something to get it
No,
right?
I was told not to read anything, so I didn't even read anything.
So
after
I looked into it.
Don't
I
read
think it
anything
was on
before the
their,
movie. Read
there's
things after the movie.
There's 6 tries when they nailed it.
Is that
They
what
did
yeah,
technically get it on their second try, but there was a issue with the crew. Something happened technically to where it's like, oh shit, we lost it.
Right.
So
right.
then they had to do it all over again. Now, as not knowing anything about the movie, and as I'm watching this first act, I'm like, I don't understand the hype. Why is this getting such
Exactly.
rave reviews?
Yes.
This is a really bad movie.
Mhm.
And I was like, there's blood, but I'm not seeing any of the zombie kills. There's only like 4 characters, so I'm like, we're gonna get a low body count, and there's
Mhm.
barely any zombies.
Yep.
Why, Pete? Why? And
Because you got to watch the whole movie before passing judgment, you jerk.
Yeah, but I was really frustrated for
I know.
37
Now let me ask
minutes.
you, when did you text me your frustration? You put one
At
little
the
blurb up, and
end.
you're like, "Oh,
At
I'm
the
so."
very
At the
end of
very
it
end,
all.
really? Okay.
At the end of the movie, because I was like, we didn't watch a horror movie. This son of a bitch. Now, for some reason, we're this is the most unique film we have ever covered, right, Charlie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't feel like
I've
I have a
sat
whole lot
here-
to say. Nate's pretty much got this covered for me. I'm good. I'm enjoying this.
I have sat here, I have thought on it, and I don't know if I liked it or hated it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because we do interviews with independent filmmakers, and like this is the type of film that we would have interviewed a director of. This one, not possible. I don't speak Japanese, would never happen.
Right.
Yeah. Language barriers.
But we do get this independent charm here. We do.
Mhm.
But it's not until the third act. And as much as I'm like watching the first act, not liking it and going, oh, what the hell? Like, why didn't he pick Train to Busan? Why didn't he just pick a good zombie movie? Then we get to the second act. I'm like, oh, now I really hate this movie. Like, I am even more upset. And then we get to the third act, the last 30 minutes, and I realize what's going on, and I'm in on what's happening. And then I'm like, okay, I like this, but why do I have to watch like 60 minutes of shit?
Oh, that's
Wow.
rough, dude.
Wow.
No, that first 60 minutes was awful, all right? Like, straight up, everything about that short film, as I'm watching it going, this is really bad. Like,
Right,
I am
but-
not enjoying myself.
But weren't you
at
interested?
all.
Like when it ends, you're like, and they start rolling credits after the first act, like after the first 37 minutes, you're like, wait a minute, this is the end of the movie. There's
I
another
thought it
hour
was.
to go.
I did too.
I don't understand what's going on.
And then it got to the reveal of like,
then
well,
right. So this independent director who's like, I can do it cheap and I can do it average. Very funny line.
Was a good line.
Yeah, he tells this TV company that they can do whatever they want for this zombie TV show they want. And they ask the impossible to do we're going to do a show, and the first show we're going to do, it's going to be in one take. You get one shot at this. It's low
Live.
budget, live. And he goes,
Live. Yeah.
oh shit, I don't know if I can do this, but he agrees to it because he's in some financial trouble. So he's like, I'm going to do this. He gets this team of, he gets his production and actors and everyone together, and everyone's just awful people. They're just terrible. I loved how they pieced everyone together, and he tried to appease everyone, and all of these as they butted heads through all of the pre-production, um, as they were going through pre-production, all the butting heads just laid layer upon layer of frustration and anger on the director. And then when he was forced to be the director in the film, because they had somebody else slotted for that, it just upped that intensity of the third act and really brought an intensity to that like, there was so much.
I feel like as a listener right now, I'd be confused as all shit.
Oh my god.
So, as the
quickly,
first act ends, the zombie movie ends. We are then revealed that the zombie movie is being set up that they are making a zombie movie,
yes,
and that actual zombies have actually attacked them inside their filming location at the warehouse. The movie ends. Now the movie begins again with the second act to reveal, hey, this was actually all a TV show to be done on live television. Here is a challenge for you, Mr. Director, to make this movie. That is a way clearer cut version
okay, I'm
to
sorry.
make of this movie.
Yeah.
That way, Pete doesn't confuse you, Mr. and Mrs. and they's audiences.
So
Because
yeah, it's a double fake. So they start making this. They start making
as
this
I'm
zombie
watching
movie.
this movie,
right?
thinking that I am seeing an actual zombie movie
Right.
happen before me, and then the carpet gets ripped out beneath me, and now I'm more pissed off because I'm like, now I get to watch the rest of the movie just being producers being producers. Great. Just great, Pete. And
But-
then we get to
yeah.
a charming third act of actually showing how the movie is being made. Quote unquote, the fake zombie movie, real zombie movie. And that is the gold there.
The
But
gold
God
is
damn it, Pete.
the peek behind the curtain. This is how the movie is made. And the third act makes everything so good because they had to write two scripts. They wrote a script for and a choreography for the actual 37-minute one shot. So that was happening without anything funny going on behind the scenes. And then they had to write a second script that was kind of a transparency layered on top of that of all the absurd weirdness going on behind the camera as they made the film. So there were like two scripts of the same 37-minute one shot, and I thought that was brilliant filmmaking, brilliant script writing, and brilliant choreography that brought those two together. Because your confusion in the first act, Nate, came to fruition in that third act.
I don't like being angry and confused. I don't like it.
When the makeup artist is showing them her self-defense hobby, you're like, why is this relevant in the first act? Well, in the third act, they're stalling for time because of a drunkard, a drunk zombie who's not is unable to actually stand at that point, or I think that's what it was. But all those, I just love all those little points that come together, much like Pulp Fiction is a good example of a non-linear way of telling a story where something that happens in the first act will have a result in the third act, and how it's all intertwined, and you need to watch it start to finish with an open mind to get the entire picture. And I understand why you're pissed off. I get it, but that's what I'm bringing to the Februaries.
Pissing us off.
I'm bringing something a little different to the table. Charlie, we haven't heard anything from you tonight.
No.
I'm cautiously pessimistic about your opinion about this movie.
I let Nate rant there for a little bit. He's very lively tonight. So
Well, it's like there's parts of me that really enjoyed it and parts of me that didn't, you know, like it was such a weird feeling of watching this movie and then being like, you can't really talk about this movie without just spoiling it with people. So then I'm also sitting here just wanting to text everyone about this damn movie, but can't.
Because you don't want to spoil the surprise. You don't want to say it's the dead people. Like, I see dead people, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to You don't want to do that to folks
You don't want the
because
twist to be
this
revealed.
movie is worth watching. And that's really what it's all about, Nate. You don't want to spoil it because you want other people to watch this, either to enjoy it or to suffer with you.
I feel like there's parts that they would enjoy once they get to the third act. But there was a lot of parts, especially that second act. I was like, I'm looking at my phone.
Second act
That's
is rough.
I'm getting my phone
rough.
out. You're lucky I didn't get my Switch out. Be like, that's it. Time to start playing Pokemon.
That's fair. That second act is pretty rough. But again, Charlie's just.
Well, you,
just
Charlie, you're not saying a damn word.
That's because you took over again, Nate, and I'm just letting you flame on there.
Woosah. Woosah.
Yeah. So you guys have pretty much said some really good points about this. I do agree. I think a lot of people that are just trying to wing it to see if they would even want to try and watch this movie are going, I have no effing idea what these guys are talking about whatsoever. So allow me to maybe see if I can help.
You know what we should have done was we should have done one of us do the first act of the podcast. Yeah. Pete does the second act, and then you do the third. But I'm not talking about the acts of the movie. We do the acts of the podcast, and then the third act is when we reveal how the podcast works.
Pretty much. You good, bud? You need a drink. You need a drink of water.
I'm out of Dr. Pepper. Sponsor us.
Sponsor us. Still looking at Tubi, even though we watched this on Shudder.
This is on Shudder, yeah.
So I got to give some validity to Nate here. I start watching this movie all in subtitles, which means I can't look at my phone. Even if I get bored, I'm gonna miss some context.
Exactly, and that's why when it got to that second one, where I was like, "Oh my god, I have no choice but to look at my phone."
I read this movie, and it's fine. I'm yelling at the movie at the beginning. I'm asking questions. I'm questioning why are we paying attention to cameraman Dave and then not paying attention to cameraman Dave? That's what I named him.
And why
as I'm watching it,
cameraman Dave not putting the camera down?
Well, why is the zombie not eating cameraman Dave?
You know, there was just a lot of all right, if this is a point of view zombie movie, because that's what I went in with the impression of, put down the camera.
Yeah. So, so what we do is, we open up this movie and we are basically right at the climax of a zombie attack as what we are seeing for a little bit. Then we realize, oh, they're filming a zombie movie. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I get it. I see what we're doing here. And so the director goes in, he yells at everyone. I got to say, I love that character in this movie. He's probably my favorite in the entire thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
Action!
I laughed hysterically every time he would run out and say that. And seriously, that was the highlight of this movie for sure.
Something as simple as also, that's our 38th take on just a simple zombie bite. Right. It had to be done right, you know?
Yeah. She couldn't cry on command. I mean, so it's a lot of stuff. So you're piecing together. I also, as I mentioned to Jackie, I think I figured out Pete's theme this month.
Oh.
And that is how long we can keep a camera on a female's rear end.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because there is a lot of that in all three of these movies so far. So
is there a lot in this movie?
Dude, they follow her up the stairs every time she goes up the stairs in those short shorts.
I guess I'm just used to looking at butts. I don't know.
I guess.
Yep, there's a butt. Whatever.
I'm just like, man, Pete's got a thing, and no shame here.
At least it's not feet.
Yeah, oh God, I wouldn't have lasted.
God, that's gonna be next February. Just watch, Charlie. Next February is gonna be Feet February. Feetuary.
Feetuary.
Ain't happening.
So I'm following along as this goes, and they're talking about making the movie. They're telling stories and something. The director's pissed off. He runs off, and I gotta say, right till the zombies show up in the first part, I'm like, okay, now this is gonna get cool. Okay, now there really is a zombie. They tell some kind of legend.
Mm-hmm.
They painted a thing with blood on the roof. It awakens the thing. So I was like, okay, I'm digging this storyline. It's Japanese. I get it. They have a lot of folk tale lore, things of that. So I'm all in. But then all of a sudden, they reference the cameraman that is filming what I'm supposed to think was the actual production filming. It's a very meta kind of thing going on here. But then they talk to the cameraman and the zombie walks past him. And I was like, what? So the cameraman keeps filming the people running and the zombies, like in this weird cuts back and forth. I'm yelling at the television. Jackie's laughing because I'm yelling at it. And it
You're
goes
yelling
through
at
the
the
whole.
TV. You're also yelling at Pete.
Oh yeah, I'm yelling at Pete.
Because
I-
that's what I was doing.
Nate
Like,
had
great,
even
we got burnt on an action movie. Now we're getting burnt on a horror movie.
Nate, I think, literally messaged me that word for word. He's like, I don't know what to do about Pete. This is not a horror movie. And so I'm watching this, and I was like, they get into the van. The director comes running into the van. Action, get the bitch. They go outside. The camera falls on the ground, and I think that was the first notice that I was like, well, they're not cutting the camera. I didn't actually put together this was a one-shot thing till they talk about it later in the movie. Like that. So that's how well it was done, honestly.
No, it's really well done. Like I said, it took
Yeah.
me about 10 minutes. It's when that zombie attacks the cameraman, like right before that happens. I was like, oh shit, this is all being one take. That's kind of cool. I was like,
Yeah.
I hope this all ends up being that way. Because then I started paying attention, like, all right, where is the cut for the edit? Like, it's
Yeah.
usually something you could tell, but you have to be paying attention. And like when the zombie got its head lobbed off and all the blood that you don't get to see, and I was just like, yeah, there's a kill, but I didn't get to see it. But like the way that they do the camera went, that's the edit. I was like, that's where they stopped, and then they moved to the outside shot. So I was like, clearly the outside location is different from the interior location. I was dead wrong about that.
Yeah.
Dead wrong. Yep.
So everything I'm yelling at does get answered. Like I'm yelling at who is this zombie in the woodshed? Oh, look, she happened to find an axe. I'm calling all this out during the first part of the movie.
All ridiculous. Yep.
It's totally insane. I'm going, why is she screaming for so long on the roof? Like
Why
zombie
are they
zombie
focused on
get
it
her.
that whole time?
Yeah, zombie
Why
get her. Yeah.
Is it when she kills the director on the roof that we don't get to see it? And it's just like,
Right.
oh my God, why?
Yeah.
Like it's getting some really cool blood effects. It's like, I just want to, this is sweet. There's
The
parts of this
actress,
that's cool.
the actress would like drop down as if she's driving the axe into him and then pop back up. She did it like 4 or 5 times, but every time Jackie was going peekaboo, peekaboo. Every time the girl would raise up,
And then
I
I'm
was
like,
dying.
why would the one cameraman keep filming if he now knows that his director has been killed? Why doesn't he go and stop her? What the hell?
I'm yelling at cameraman Dave the whole time. Then she
He's
runs
a shitty
around
human
again.
being.
The lady with the axe in her head comes back to life, and I'm like, what's going on?
How?
Yeah.
I was like, maybe the axe isn't that far in. Maybe you can hit someone with an axe and it only sticks a little bit in and you're allowed to live. I don't know.
I yelled, grab that axe and dual wield. So that's what I told the actress on the TV because I'm invested. I'm yelling. And then it goes into the artsy fartsy part of the ending of this movie. Following her feet, going up, following. They're trying.
Well,
okay,
we can't
trying to be artsy fartsy.
Yes, because then you have a zombie attacking her, and then it stops.
Yes,
and then she says like, "I love you," and it stops. And I was just like, "Oh, so now zombies follow love logic or something?"
Right.
God damn it, Pete. God damn it, Pete. God damn it, Pete. God damn it,
and
Pete.
she cuts the head off, and then credits roll.
Which we don't see.
No. So they do a long shot off of her, and credits start rolling, and I look at Jackie and go, "Well, nobody told me this was only 30 minutes long," and I was a hair of turning off the movie.
Oh,
that would have been amazing.
Part of me wishes I had, because it would have added a whole new layer. No, it would have added a whole new layer to this. Not that this movie is gold on the third part of this movie. Period. That's the end goal. Even Nate goes, make it to the end. You have to. That's the payoff. Second part drags for sure. A lot of exposition. You're seeing all of the actors from the first
building.
part.
You're
We're
building to the
seeing
third
the
part.
director get hired for the job. We're seeing him do the auditions. We're seeing him at home with his house, like
Yes.
wife and daughter. I don't
Yeah,
quite
and
know.
daughter.
wife and daughter.
And
Yep.
just like they support him so much that when he's not around, they're just reading the script nonstop. Like
Well,
they
his
they
daughter,
they
his
support
daughter,
him, and
yeah, his
his
daughter has
daughter's a big film head.
aspirations
Of being a
of
director.
being a
And
director.
his wife was an actress at one time.
Yes. And also, what we find out is this is one of those guys that will not say no to anyone.
He's a yes
So
man.
he's a very much a yes man. I
Mhm.
equate it to, if you've ever seen Tropic Thunder, the way they portray that director, where pretty much the crew or the cast and crew are running amok, ruining the movie, and the director cannot get any control. So that's what is happening in here. Like, he gets a stupid artsy up and coming actor for playing the main zombie, and he's like, what is my motivation, why am I doing this, what, and then you have the chick, the girl, that's
the
the
pop star.
the pop
The
star
idol.
eye
Yep.
candy. She's
I can't do
not
that.
not a good actress, but she is the reason everyone's going to tune in, so he has to kind of do
And
what she,
isn't the guy also like a pop star or like a
Yeah,
big
he's
actor?
he's an up and coming young actor or something like that.
So
Yeah,
our
I couldn't
two
keep
he's
main
a somebody. Yeah.
leads in the zombie movie
In,
are both well established.
yes.
So that was going to be what's going to tune in to the audience, because the whole plan is we're going to do a TV show that's going to trick the audience into thinking they're watching a zombie movie when actual zombies attack. That is the pitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
But
they're
you have to do it
doing
in one take.
Yeah, they're doing their version of War of the Worlds. It's going to air at 1:00 live in one take. That's the huge aspirations for the Zombie Network. They literally are making an entire network for zombies. So we meet the producers that are putting it all on. That one lady, God bless her, she ain't got a face for TV, but shoo, it's like, okay, you know who she is though. She's doing it. And so a lot, you start seeing, okay, they're working on how to do this movie, how to do this in one take. A lot of prep work, a lot of special effects, going over the script and all this other stuff. And then we get into the actual filming of this 37-minute one take, which
and the chaos surrounding it.
exactly, yes.
And it turns out this whole movie is a bitch to make.
Right.
The first act is a bitch to make because of all the shit that keeps happening around the crew. That is just great comedy. You
got one guy with IBS and drinks wrong water and gets the runs. You got one guy who's a reformed alcoholic who dips into the sake a little too early.
Yep. Two actors don't show up. They
get in a car wreck or something.
I think it was car wreck with quotations because they were canoodling. One another.
They didn't get to the set on time. That's why the director had to be the director.
Yeah,
and his wife had to be the makeup artist. Yeah,
yes.
That's how they got into that.
Yeah, so it explains that. So now the director is the director character in this thing, because, like he said, he's the only one that knows the lines. He's the only one that knows like the timing of everything. And his wife, we set it up that she always reads this. She's probably read the script 100 times.
That's what
she knew the part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and when it got to that point, I was like, oh, I'm starting to see the pieces fall together here.
Because then we start to see
understand
the I guess soundboard crew. I don't know what you want to call them.
You have your techs. You have
the command center,
crew.
the assistant directors.
Yeah.
Like they're behind the monitors, they're seeing everything going, and they're helping our director direct the movie and as he acts in the movie.
And they're also directing traffic as far as the actors are concerned. Like, you got to be over here, you got to be over there. Here's your makeup, quick.
So there's a lot of stuff that goes on when you do. So there was a movie that came out a couple years ago, and again, it's like 3,000 Samurai, something like that.
400 versus one.
No,
might be
it's
400.
Like 87 Samurai or something like that.
No, it's 400 versus one, where it's 400 people versus one samurai. It's a one.
Okay.
I think Nate's got it. Yeah, I have it. It's in the shop.
It's on
that's what
Tubi,
it is.
I think.
Well, I bought it. Sludge was all about it, so I was like,
Yeah, it
I
was
got
great.
it, and I watched. But what I loved is the planning on how to shoot and seeing how it's all the same actors that are playing like the other swordsmen in that movie, and they're pretty much just doing in circles.
Mhm.
They die, the camera moves from that spot, they all get up, they move to the next location, ready to attack the samurai. And then there's clever ways to give the actor of the samurai a break. There's literally a
Mhm.
discussion between two characters that the camera never stops, but we don't see the main samurai who we've seen the entire movie. He literally needed like to rehydrate and,
I need to go pee
whatever
and take a sip of water or something. Yeah.
and then it picks back up with him. So what we're seeing is all of that happening.
Mhm.
I tell you, the person I paid attention to the most, though, is because I was so infatuated with my issue with the cameraman at the beginning. I am now only watching the cameraman in the third part,
Yeah.
and how he has his second assistant that is always, because he's looking through the camera.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't realize when you're doing a lot of moving shots, you need someone to kind of guide you
To
to make sure you don't trip over
pull and
yourself.
push you over
Yeah,
in the right
fall
direction.
down
Yep.
steps.
Mhm.
And there's this girl, and they only hint at it, and I really like that she's like, can I try, or
Right.
can I have a shot? And
But he's an asshole.
yeah, he's a dick, because it gets to the part where I was like, why is the camera laying on the ground? They get to that part in the third act, and it's because he fell and hurt himself and couldn't move,
And
and
he's
the
like
camera,
being super quiet, like he's holding the pain
he's like
in.
frozen in time, and
And he's
it's like the camera's not filming anything, but you, like, the actors would run across the screen. They realized they would have to do something because
This is
it's
the
otherwise
most
it's just
confusing movie to
grass.
describe.
it really
It
is.
is.
It's
Like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is chaos to me.
This is
Like,
why
people,
this is why everyone went to go watch this and then come
right?
back to listen to
If
us
you
talk
Yeah,
watch
because
about
they're
this
like, what
because
the
you
hell are they
cannot
even talking about?
just listen to us about
Yeah.
this insane.
Yeah, if you watched it, it's fine.
It just
you're
sounds like
you're
we're all
following.
madmen right now.
But yeah, he
We
had a
are.
back problem from the beginning. Like he was
Yeah.
complaining about his back, and he did take a bad step and hurt his back. And he's telling his assistant with his eyes, "I'm out.
Yeah,
I can't do this
but it
anymore."
takes her forever to pick up the camera and go,
Right,
which I
right.
love. That's and
Mhm.
it explain, like, I'm going, that's what I kept yelling about at the beginning part. This is why all this is happening. This is why it doesn't really make sense. It does, you're like, well, what happened to that guy? Where did that guy go? What's going on here?
Where did that
Who
come from? I don't
yeah,
understand what this is. That
who is
doesn't make any
this who
sense.
is this zombie that walks into the woodshed? And it's literally, they, to communicate to the
Right.
actors, they had placards, and they would write direction, so the actors are acting, but they're looking at the placards going, okay, that's what I need to do. They painted this poor PA's legs to look like a zombie because they would be in shot, so the actress could read what she needed to do,
What
which
she
was
needed to do.
pick up the
Go pick up
axe
an
you find
axe.
outside.
And I love it that she gets out of that little shed and goes, "Oh, lucky me, I found an axe."
I love that part, honestly.
Oh,
I
it was
really
so
did.
Oh, it
I
had
loved
me
it.
just
dying.
brilliant.
I
Because
loved it at the beginning when she said it.
the first time you see her, like, that's really stupid. What? Oh,
What I tell you, there's another reason it made me laugh,
yeah.
and Nate should have. I don't know if Nate picked up on this, but we had just watched a movie called Grotesque on
Oh yeah,
Tubi.
no, I picked up on it
Did,
completely.
did you get that? So
Mhm.
there's a scene in that movie, because we just interviewed the director. By this
Ooh.
time this comes out, you should have heard that. Um, and there's literally a scene where this girl is on a killing rampage, chasing someone through the woods, and looks over to the side and goes, "Oh, look, an axe. How lucky am I?" And takes it and uses it to kill the person. And
Oh, I love it.
when I saw this in that movie, I went, "Oh, that's even funnier now. I like this."
Yeah,
It's
it was
just
great.
there. But I don't know. I like the third act of this. I like
I like
that
the
it
love and
finished
dedication
Yeah.
to showing what it can take to put a film together. And especially when the movie ends and you now have even more meta where you're seeing the behind the scenes photos of them making the movie,
Yeah. The camera crew of the camera crew of the camera crew.
Yeah,
That is that was wild because I was watching it all the way through the credits because I was really enjoying
is a
it.
true love to independent filmmaking.
So yeah,
without
like
a doubt.
Yes.
the fourth act, the credits is the actual making of
Yeah.
the
Yes.
first act,
Yeah.
where the third act is a fictional telling of the making of the
Yeah.
first act.
You see
which-
everything that they're doing.
Once again,
yeah.
I think this writing is brilliant. How you worked in faults and weirdness, like the makeup artist jumping up after she had been splayed, after she had an axe to her forehead.
Yeah.
Like,
she had
what?
been knocked unconscious and then
Right.
had to wake up,
And they show you
not
that in the
knowing
third
how
act,
to
why that
respond.
happened.
Yeah,
Right. Oh,
it's
so good.
the boom crane breaking was probably
And they
one
had
of
to
my
make
fa-
a
and
human pyramid to get that last shot.
then us. And they got the one producer guy had to be. So you had all the zombies from the movie at the bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Then the producer and some PAs, and then the guy's daughter, who basically took
The
over
director and
as,
his daughter, not sister, daughter. Yeah.
she pretty much took over as a director to get things back on track because her dad couldn't do it. He is now the actor. He's
in
As
the
a
film, yeah.
listener, I have no idea what the hell any of you guys are talking about right now.
What?
Seeing it.
we just discussed this, Nate.
I'm just saying.
we
That's what
just
makes
told
this
everyone
episode hard.
To go watch it before
Right.
we talk about it.
Go
One,
watch
don't
it.
spoil it. Two, it's too damn confusing to tell you about it.
Which is
What-
why, damn it, Pete.
How do you want us to do this? There's no.
I don't know. This is all part of it.
You're so
It
mad.
is.
You're Slither mad, Nate. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, Pete. One more week, Charlie. One more damn week, Charlie. One more week.
We'll be back following these messages.
Do you like horror movies?
Do you like hanging out with your buddy?
Do you like cracking jokes and having a good time?
Do you just like fun?
Well, consider checking out Spoils of Horror. We are an hour-long podcast that comes out every single week.
We're not doing reviews. We're just going to hang out, talk about the movies we love with each other, and hopefully the ones you love too.
Covering everything from the popular, the lost, the forgotten, and the bizarre.
If you're looking for a good podcast and a good time, you're going to want to check us out.
We're on all major podcasting platforms, and you can find us on Instagram and Twitter.
Check it out. We'll see you there.
From Nerf Zombie Strike.
Hey guys, look at this blasting.
That's awesome. Let's move. Now you can take out zombies with the all-new Sling Fire with quick load, lever action blasting, and amazing accuracy. All new Nerf Zombie Strike Sling Fire. It's Nerf or nothing.
Just how drunk are we gonna get?
Welcome to Good Beer, Bad Movie Night, where each month we drink finely crafted brews while watching terrible films in order to see just how drunk you have to get to enjoy them. So tune in and join Troy.
Kilroy Kreitz.
Oh, that was pretty good.
Thank you.
Dave.
I have the weirdest boner.
And Pete. IPAs are ales, meaning they are bottom fermented. Excuse me, they are top fermented. I that up. Try that again. As we drag Kathleen,
Hear me.
kicking and screaming through an alcohol-fueled podcast dedicated to movies of questionable quality and the frosty adult beverages that help make them tolerable. Good Beer, Bad Movie Night. Clearly, it's the beer's fault.
Welcome back.
All right. Well, now that I had to subdue Nate and drop a freaking commercial, rather
I am
abruptly.
calm. I am good.
Are you
I
okay?
am not upset.
Did you take your medicine, Nate?
Yeah.
I am calm. I am good. I am not upset.
So, Nate, let me make you feel a little bit better here because I don't want you to feel like it's Pete and I ganging up on you.
Oh,
I feel like
Enlighten me.
you're validated because I too am watching this movie going, this is not what I expected for February. When someone says Pete's going to pick some movies for us, I was apprehensive at first. And to be fair, Raw was probably the most accurate to what I was like, oh, of course, this is a Pete movie. So I thought that got out of his system to be fairly tame, in my opinion. I expected the next horror movie to be some batshit insane Japanese ghost possession demon
Right.
floating heads, some wild, outlandish story with geysers of blood and
spooky out the ass, like just something just terrifying.
Yeah,
riddled
that
with fear.
I've never heard of, I've never experienced, and Pete knew about it.
He psychologically got into our heads, you know? And
I
like
don't think so, because we had to watch
think
Cutie
about
Honey.
it. Yeah, exactly. So then I started thinking, well, you know what? Maybe this is a long con. He's been planning this since October of not last year, but the year before, when we made him watch a werewolf movie that turns out wasn't really about werewolves, but about a group of X-Men psycho cops.
And I
So
apologize up front for that.
Well, you know what? But then I was like, now this was his way of going, I'll make him watch a quote unquote zombie movie that is not a zombie movie. And that's how I'll get their ass. And it's a long con, baby.
Yeah. So I will defend Nate in saying this is not a horror movie at all.
Plus,
it
I'm
is
still mad about Cutie Honey Bun Bun. So you gotta like hold me like you have to understand after watching Honey Boo Boo that then this is happening, and I'm just like,
oh, damn it.
He promised me a banger. That dictionary,
Oh, I remember those words.
Banger.
Yep.
He promised me Power Rangers. Like the man he's a politician. He's nothing but empty promises.
We're getting the State of the Nate address right now, and it's amazing. It's so I'm not going.
You don't want this ass in politics. It's too good.
So that was my thoughts in this. I was just like, this was not what I expected Pete to bring to the table.
Okay, so in all truth be known, it's been a couple of years since I've seen this movie, and I only remember the first and the third act. So I thought this was a banger, and then that second act came through. I'm like, oh shit. This
you did the same thing with Cutie Bun Buns.
This really pumps on
like,
the brakes.
oh, I probably should have watched this movie first before I picked it.
Well, no, I did. So I did watch. I thought I was going to throw in Meatball Machine for this episode, and then I did watch it. And about 20 minutes in, there is a really, really awful rape scene in it, and I went, nope. If this scene could be taken out, Meatball Machine is what we would have watched.
And I've seen that. So that
don't know what that is, honestly.
You would love it, except for that one scene.
Outside of that 10-minute scene, man, that's a definite banger. It's rough.
Yeah, it's not a comfortable scene.
Nothing
Nothing that we want to promote.
Exactly.
I mean, if you want to watch it on your own, it's amazing.
So that
movie as far as that goes.
That's what I was gonna do, and I thank God that I watched it in advance. So this was my alternate pick. So just keep that in mind, folks. But I also want to say that this is my month, and I wanted to bring some weird stuff to the table. And I've always promised weird stuff. I think this is a banger because of the way the story is told. This is kind of like a zombie chorus line, right? I know Charlie's never seen a chorus line, but I'm sure you understand.
I don't even know what a chorus line is.
It's one of the most famous musicals out there. It is.
Now he's trying to make us watch a horror musical, Charlie.
No,
he made us watch an anime action, quote unquote, bun movie.
Shut up, Nate. A chorus line is a play about the backstage happenings of a Broadway musical, which is kind of sort of what this is about. Now, I'm not going to say that One Cut of the Dead is anywhere near the quality of movie that a chorus line is, but that's what I equate it to. It is how the sausage is made. It's what it looks like on the other side of the camera. Yeah. Did it take a long time to get there? Yeah. Was the second act rough? Yeah. Was the first act confusing? Yes, but on purpose. and I thought the reveal in the third act would have satisfied your questions, curiosities,
It
and
does.
right.
It does,
So-
but it doesn't take away the this is terrible.
It's
you
such
can
a
never
weird feeling.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, because like
Yeah.
that third act is so great that you're like, somehow you sons of bitches like made me hate everything about you, and then you spun it on me to now I love you, and I don't know how to feel about this.
But I still hate you. You know,
Was-
that's
Is this
yeah.
what gaslighting is? Like,
Yeah,
Dude,
maybe a
we
little
get-
bit. Yeah.
Pete gaslighted us with a movie this month. But yeah, it's so odd the emotions this drug up. Now we're busting balls and harping on it's not a horror movie, and it's fine. It is a bloody, gory
it's
zombie
definitely
movie.
a
You know,
loving
it's
tribute to making low budget independent horror movies that we
It
love.
totally is. Like this
And
should have
that I cannot like hate on it whatsoever. Like
No.
I adore that so much. And like as I was thinking about like how the hell are we going to talk about this movie, it's like, nah, that's it. It's the heart and soul of this movie is the love of making movies.
this had I say we have a time machine and we go,
Mhm.
okay, how do we do this a little bit better for everyone? I would have done more of a independent movie month
Mm.
and crescendoed with this movie.
Oh,
I would
okay.
have
All right.
let it end
I
with
love that idea.
We've watched like independent horror and a couple independent actions, and this is the last independent horror.
Hmm.
But we get to now go, oh, this is what they're going through.
To
It's
make
not always
these happen.
it's not always on the one take aspect, but it's chaos when they make movies. You know,
It's that thing. We're lucky that a movie even gets made, and this is
Yeah.
a perfect example of like all the shit that can go wrong. Where one of your main actors gets so drunk that when they're filming a scene, you have the director actually being a marionette puppet
Making
with
puppet
the
out of
drunk
this
guy,
drunk
making
dude.
puppet things,
Weekend at
and then
Bernie's.
your
Yes.
actor pukes all over another actor, real puke.
Twice.
To where then that actor is freaking out, wondering what was that liquid? What was that liquid?
Right.
What was that liquid? that
Because
came on me?
it made it even better because she specifically goes, it
No
will all
vomit.
be
Yep.
fake vomit.
Mhm.
You know, I don't have to deal with anything that's real, you know, or even
But-
close to real.
Their
But
blood
she
guy
even
is
said-
literally following behind them with a bucket of blood and like
And a mop.
a paintbrush, yeah,
Yeah.
and just trying to like make things happen on the fly.
Which, if you
Oh.
watch the credits of the behind the scenes of the actual real movie, there's a bucket blood guy
Yeah,
that is
there's a-
running around painting blood on the
Painting blood on
stumps
stuff,
of
yep.
people, and I'm loving all of that. Charlie didn't hate this movie.
So
I
so
will-
maybe this was displaced. Maybe this movie, maybe I sold it too hard.
Yes,
But
Yes,
but this is one of those, this is what I wanted to bring. I wanted to bring movies that don't get enough attention or haven't necessarily gotten enough attention, don't come to the mainstream very often. You don't hear a lot of podcasts doing Raw. You never hear anybody doing QD Honey, which they should.
They will never
you
do it
don't
again.
I've never heard anyone. I've heard people talk about One Cut of the Dead, but I think I found this on my own, so I still
this
haven't
first
heard a
time
lot
I've
about
heard
it.
of it. Yeah,
The
this was-
next one we're gonna do, I haven't heard a whole lot about either. So I wanted to bring that to this show. I wanted to try to bring to light some films that are worthwhile, worth your time, and just give
And
them a
this
little
one
bit of
will-
spotlight.
And that's the thing. Like you have to dedicate the time because, like Charlie said, if you weren't paying attention, it could have easily been all right, cool, like that's it, and then turn it off and be like, I don't know why Pete picked that.
Yep.
That seems like a very below standard zombie movie, but I'm curious to see what he has to say about it. Maybe there's something that he got that I didn't, and
What-
just
I'm curious,
not
why-
even
why did
close
you-
out of the menu, just change apps completely, so
Right.
you wouldn't have even seen like, hey, wait a minute,
Yeah.
doofus, you got 60 minutes left of this movie.
Right? Why did you keep watching it, Charlie? But just out of
it
curiosity.
was just because I was watching it through the
To see if,
credits.
Nick Fury comes to recruit
Right,
him,
recruit the
Right.
zombie.
And they, like, I have to believe this has happened to some people because they literally go screen black as soon
Mm-hmm.
as the credits are done. And it's a solid probably 5 count before the camera comes back on. So I'm also at that point of going, okay, maybe we get some like documentary style, like, why did you make this movie? Why did you want to do this? And it really took me a minute or two of me and Jackie going, oh, it's not done. Okay. Okay, we're in for the rest of the movie. And again, Jackie's with me making fun of the first part. She's
Sure.
laughing at the insanity of it. And
is.
it's deliberate.
Yes.
I feel the whole third act justifies my anger at the beginning, but it can't
does.
take away my anger. That is that's a problem.
That's fair.
Because you feel what you feel. And
yeah.
so the second dies, then the third, you find I perked up at the third. Jackie did not. She was just like, oh, she's like, how much longer has this movie got? And I was like, well, it can't have that much more. Oh, her comment at the end going, well, 1 out of 3 ain't bad for Pete. Because she liked Raw, but she didn't like Cutie Honey or this
that's
one.
Okay.
So
Jackie and I have a love-hate relationship. That's
exactly.
Well,
that's okay.
With this movie, because it being a zombie movie, I was like, man, maybe Pete picked like a really brutal zombie movie for us to watch. Because like, if there's one thing
that's what I
you
was
should
thinking.
know about Pete is he doesn't like zombie movies.
Like zombie movies.
So I was like, by all means, if he picked a zombie movie for us to cover, like this must be pretty brutal. Like, and
well,
you said
it
go
checked
in
the
knowing
boxes.
nothing.
Yeah, it said
like, all right.
Japanese. It was, Pete's like, it's a banger. It's a zombie. So we're like, I'm with Nate. I thought it was going to be the most brutal, messed up movie I've ever experienced because we're all in a group chat. And when we're not preparing for the podcast, Pete will just share random movies that he's watching. Hey, have you ever heard of this one? Check out what I'm watching. And 90% of the time when it comes to the horror, I have no idea what that movie was. And, we get the Pete ratings at the end of them, like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't do this, or this was fantastic. I thought I was getting one of those. I thought I was getting one of the ones that Pete found.
So Pete gaslit us.
At the unmentionable place in Columbus where he gets movies. And so it's a library, everybody. I don't want him thinking that he's getting
dirty
them
back alley on 5th Avenue.
he's over on West Broad.
He's over on Cleveland Avenue.
It's yeah.
Ooh, no.
Not Cleveland.
Don't buy movies off Cleveland.
Not Cleveland Avenue. No. This is in Worthington.
Certain parts of Cleveland Avenue.
No.
So yeah, I think it was unmanaged expectations. And because Pete didn't want to spoil anything, he couldn't manage our expectations. I think it was a double-edged sword.
Which is the perfect way to describe this movie, is definitely
a double-edged sword. Yeah,
it is a double-edged sword. It's going to cut you to pieces, and then it's going to try to say, hey, I'm sorry, I promise never to do it again. But it's still just a very
not the Spinal Tap of horror movies, but kind of the Spinal Tap of horror movies.
Yeah, I mean, I could see glimpses of like Mel Brooks style of movie making in here, definitely an influence on the comedy end of things, definitely. And the silliness of, always the end of Blazing Saddles where they break all barriers, they go across the lot at Universal,
right.
That whole thing when it's all happening.
Like, this is how glamorous the Wild Wild West is, of course.
Exactly, but it's all a back lot. They run through the cafeteria. I was almost expecting scenes like that. And again, this movie had something though that none of the other two have had. I don't know what the third one is yet. We won't know for a few minutes. I connected with the director. The director was a character I could latch onto because he is trying to lead a group of people. He is trying to conduct certain things to happen. And I've done construction.
What's he saying, Nate?
I know. I feel like what he's referring to is he's like, I try to wrangle up and make things go smoothly, but then I have two knuckleheads that decide to talk and yell and laugh at each other for 3 hours straight for one missing in action episode, to the point where I go, that's it, damn it. I'm making it 2 parts. I hate all of you.
Also, I didn't get to talk for like the first 12 minutes of this episode. So, there's that too. So I give y'all
figured
enough
you were
rope.
doing that classic dad move where you were containing your energy to let it out later.
I was setting the audience up because they're like, oh shit, we haven't heard from Charlie yet.
Mhm.
You know, I'm building the tension that this movie didn't have. But,
True.
but there was a character that I could finally connect with, that I could follow through this movie, and I enjoyed that aspect of it. I did enjoy it overall. I'll give my rating when we get to it here in a bit,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
I did. This is Nate even said this, and I'm going to do this to him. Nate goes, "This is the best out of the 3 so far."
Oh,
And
okay.
I agree. I think this is the best out of the 3 so
Yeah,
far.
definitely. And like it made me like, all right, what else has this dude made? I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name because
No.
it's impossible for me. But like I haven't really seen anything else that he's done that like captures my eye. And he has done quite a few things like after this movie. It's just nothing else really. When I was clicking on IMDb, like, oh, I wonder what this is about. I wonder what this is about. It's like, none of these really.
Amatsu Takayuki.
Yeah, they're not really grabbing me, but like I'm still curious to see what he's gonna like. If next year or this year they were like, hey, the guy that did One Cut of the Dead, he's got a new movie out. Like, all right, well, what's it about? Like, I'll at least be willing
Yeah.
to.
This guy's gonna have probably the same type of impact, like John Woo had to the American audiences. He was doing his thing over there, but people really weren't paying attention to him or even knew what he was doing till they brought him over here and we could finally see it. So I have a feeling that this director will be that in the horror end of things. He's got an eye. He's got
I've
a
always been
talent
the
there.
type
for
of
sure.
person where it's like if I like a director, I don't even have to watch a trailer anymore. It's like, oh no, I want to see what he's doing. Like I love Thirst so much that when that dude's new movie came out this past
Yeah.
fall, I went and saw it. Now it's
Yeah.
escaping me what the hell it was even called.
Saying that also reminded me that when I was looking for a trailer for this movie, the trailer has a spoiler alert at the beginning of it.
Oh
Oh, really?
It does, because how do you make a trailer for this movie? If you make it
can't.
based on the first part, people are going to be mad that it's not just a horror movie. Like
Kind of
we
like
were.
Nate.
Yeah. But you can't add anything
I'm
else to
usually
it.
always
Can't.
angry, but then like somehow
Yeah.
Pete made me more angry.
Oh,
and
I'm
trying to
sorry,
not
Nate.
be
I don't want to
angry.
make you angry. I'm sorry, buddy.
The trailer can't add anything else of the movie because it ruins the whole first part
Yes.
of the movie.
Mhm.
So it was kind of wild. They go, "This is the trailer. We're telling you now, it will spoil the entire movie if you continue. So go at your own risk." I was like, that's kind of the first time I've ever seen a trailer that did that. And it's all in other languages. Otherwise, I would have played that for us.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
it's subtitled like this entire movie that I
We
had
should
to read.
subtitle this whole
And-
podcast.
And the next
I-
two.
I was
Or the
next
next one.
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 Next
Damn
one.
it.
Sorry.
This guy's trying to, sneak into March.
I could do March.
Nope. Already got
March
it.
is
booked.
already in the books.
We filled that
all right.
bitch up as soon as
Filled it up real quick after Honey Kitty.
Nate's like, we can't give an inch. I was like, done, man. Let's write it out now. All right, guys. Well, I think we've gone through the movie. It's a movie. it's a movie about making a movie, and we'll get into our final thoughts when we get to the final spot part. So let's do the things.
Do the things.
It's a
I
zero.
know. I know.
It's
I know.
it's zero.
I know. It's zero.
No one dies.
It's okay.
No one dies.
It's okay, Pete. I too have inadvertently brought a horror movie to the table that had a 0. That's on me. Now that's on you. Charlie, you must make a sacred vow to never make the same mistake that we have made.
I'm sitting here trying to think. I don't think I've done that on the action
I don't think
show
you
yet.
have yet, but I guess
it
we
could
could cover
happen.
sidekicks one day.
Like if we ever do April Fool's Day, that's a 0.
Yeah, that's a 0. Yep. There's a few out there. So yeah, no one actually
Can't even
dies.
do a kill of the week.
I feel like we can.
I bow gracefully out.
Okay.
Fine, Pete. We're gonna do our kill. Of
We're
the
gonna
week.
do a kill of the week.
What do you think? Zombie kill of the week.
Because he says zombie. I had to play the drop.
Zombie kill of the week. Right.
Zombie kill of the week.
Well,
You
I
can't
thought we were
ruin
getting a
gold
real
like
zombie
that.
movie.
I
Dictionary. Adjectives.
I'm gonna pick my favorite out of this, and it's probably more because my wife made it even more hilarious, and that's her
Wait.
chopping the director up
Yeah,
because
yes.
she gets the most covered in blood, and the payoff of how they
In the
did
third
it
act?
at the end
Yeah.
in the third act is she drops down and there's someone with a bucket of blood and a hose, and he blows blood up into the air with
It's
his
so
mouth.
good.
It's
And this
and
poor
like,
girl is taking a facial every
Oh,
time.
every
a
like
blood
you
his
just,
facial reaction to it all is so damn funny too.
Oh.
Because
I
he's
lost
so
it.
calm and just like do 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 do.
He has one job and he's going to do that job well, damn it. And you can almost kind of hear her going, no, not there. Oh God, would you stop hitting? Nope, it's in there. And it's
He's getting
so
up the nose and in the
Yeah, oh,
eyes, in the
it's-
ears. Yeah. Yeah.
it's curled up like a saxophone.
Right,
Because they want
right.
that blood
Yep.
spray,
Yep.
but it's spraying up her face.
Poor cow.
My favorite. That's my kill of the week in a non-kill movie. Pete, what's your kill of the week in a non-kill movie?
I like early on in the film where someone rolls a head
Oh, God.
into the water treatment plant. I think it was
Yes.
it was an early kill, and someone takes, I don't know, an axe. I don't remember what
It's
it was.
the makeup, the wife
Yes.
chops off the head because they try to go out the double doors.
They just bowling ball a head into the
Yeah. So
scene.
they're all like spinning in circles because it's still one shot.
Uh-huh.
So what they're doing is the cameraman is going in circles, and as it spins around, there's like a PA at the bottom with a head and just launches it at one of the actors. And it falls on the ground. And when they do show it later in the third act, when they throw the whole body that is decapitated,
yeah.
it's just like this thud. And there's a dead body. And the guy crawling out, who was the live zombie, out of the shot. There were parts I was laughing my ass
that was
off.
great, and I love me a dummy throw off a cliff, and this was this is my dummy throw off a cliff.
That was
for
a
sure.
dummy throw for sure.
Yep.
Nate, you sure you don't want to participate in this? We're having
No,
a
I'm
lot
not
of fun over
participating.
here.
It doesn't count.
All
It's
right,
not real.
all right,
It's all
you
fake.
angry son of a bitch. Jeez.
Damn, man, not even gonna
Not
play
real.
with kill of the week.
No, it'd be a fake
God.
kill of the week. There's an asterisk there. And I'm not team
I
asterisk.
have absolutely no idea what's going on.
That's exactly how I feel sometimes.
All right, well, let's give Nate his outlet and let's see how we rate this bad boy.
All right.
Guys, it's okay. He just wanted his machete back. Woo!
Nate, what did you feel about this movie?
You're up, baby.
It's an angry 7.5.
Whoa! I knew it, you bastard.
Wow.
I knew it was going to be high.
It's
I
my
knew
love
it.
for cinema, my love for movies, and my love to see how a movie
I
can
am
be made.
so happy right now.
It's just the whole the deceit that Pete gave us, the words that Pete uses to describe things.
The
I
lies.
had to make sure I gave him a bunch of shit on this one.
Oh sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had a
That's me.
feeling.
Because as I'm watching it going, why didn't he pick Train to Busan? Why didn't he pick The Horde? Like, there's other really great foreign horror movies. Why didn't he pick Wormwood? Why? Why, God damn it? Why?
I haven't seen
And
any
then
of those, so I would have been fine.
Mhm.
Then after getting to it, I went, oh, okay, I get it now.
Oh.
But no, like,
Charlie, what
it's
about you,
definitely
baby?
enjoyable.
Oh, I actually kind of am a little taken aback of how high Nate's is. I'm going to 7 though. I'm going to 7 because it's straight up. This was a love of independent filmmaking. It really does depict the chaos involved. And as Pete has said, this takes a lot of skill to write and plan. There is so much that goes into it, and the fact they did it on $25,000,
25,000.
It's impressive.
It's amazing. It honestly, if for any of those that are listening to us that are making involved with independent movies here, and you haven't watched this, go watch this movie. It is
I imagine, like, if you're a filmmaker, you could relate to this movie. So
I was going to
hard.
say, like our friends like Sean and Derek and all these guys can totally be like, oh my God, this thing is so close to being exactly what it's like on set.
The only thing it's not, crossing the movie making is like with independent films, like how it takes 2 years to make.
Right.
Yeah, that's a little fast. We've heard of a lot longer timelines to make this, but that's the other kick of it. Like a lot of the ones we just we just talked to, it was like we ran out of money. And these were like, I like the idea of, we have this amount of money. How do we stretch it? How do we make it work? Even to the fact that there are people playing multiple roles in this movie as it goes. And I wouldn't be surprised that there was a lot of people that just swapped a hat. They played a role in the second part, and then they're in a whole nother scene in the third act. And because they threw a hat on or glasses, you have no idea that they played some other. Like there's a whole scene of a movie being made in the second part with the daughter, and I guarantee everyone in that scene is people that are in the third act.
I bet you're right.
Because there can't be a ton of people involved. So I love the creativity behind it. I give it huge props. Jackie's score's definitely not that high. She didn't give me a number, but she's just like, I didn't like this. And I get it. She's not as involved with, talking with people like we are. Even what we put on the episodes isn't all of the conversations Nate and I have with a lot of directors and people that are doing these movies.
I would have rated this any lower, I also would have felt very hypocritical of like independent filmmaking and my love for
True.
it. Like, it's one of those things, like if I would have gave this like a 4 or something, and be like, oh, so you don't even care for independent cinema, because if you did, you would have enjoyed this movie,
And that is always, it breaks my heart literally when we get the chance to check out some of these movies, and then I go and look up information on IMDb, and I see they're rated in the 2s or the 3s, and I'm like, that's not fair. Even if it wasn't a great movie, this could have been like a person's first or second film. Honestly, there shouldn't even be a rating.
Group of friends that got together and actually made it happen.
So, that's, to me, it's the most unfair part of independent movie making, is having to deal with the assholes out there. So much so, we are not doing a trash opinion on this episode, just FYI for everyone.
Yes.
So I think our best opinion, though, is we're going to find out how Pete rates this. So Pete, please.
I love this movie. It's been 2-3 years since I've seen it. I had forgotten, I had forgotten how slow that second half is. But I'm still going to give it an 8. I think this movie ticks all the boxes for me. It, like for Nate and even you, Charlie, it made me mad, that first one. Like, I see all the flaws here. What the hell is going on? I don't understand. And then slowly the book opens and it shows you what's happening. And then in that third act is so special that it's the words don't do it well. You've got to see that third act to see how, again, how the sausage is made, what's going on, how do people deal with making a movie. And just watching that, it's like, I don't want to make a movie. That sounds horrible. I just want to be entertained by them.
To me, I had the opposite reaction. I would love to experience.
You want to do that? That's the chaos that you thrive in.
Yeah,
I think
that truly is,
and
that is, again, that's just the charm that this movie has, and I love it, man.
I wanted to bring something different to the cast. All 3 of these movies so far. I wanted to put a spotlight on things that don't get enough of a spotlight, and that's why I chose these movies. I will never pick Texas Chainsaw. I will never pick Poltergeist. I will never pick that. I will review those, and I will have a blast doing so. But that's not what I want to bring to the table. I'm sorry.
Right.
something else.
Yeah,
I understand that. I understand
we
that.
expected the obscure and the insane.
So
while you do fall in those criteria with these choices you've picked, they weren't what we expect from Pete.
okay,
And
all right.
that's fine. And to really say this movie truly needs to be watched to experience, even you can hear how hard it is for us to describe this to you because we've experienced it and we're trying to relay to you all as if you all have seen this movie. So if you made it through this episode and you didn't go watch this movie first, bravo, thank you for sticking it out.
Mhm.
But you still need to go back and now go, oh, that's what those idiots were babbling about.
Please go
Okay,
watch this
now I
movie.
get it. Totally makes sense. But this is one that needs to be experienced for sure. And turn off your critical brain, enjoy it for what it is, and really appreciate a lot of the thought and care and love that go into movies like this. And go watch more independent movies. As much as people bitch and
100%.
moan, I want something new. Oh, we're on Scream 257. Why can't we get there are
I
new
will
movies
watch
out there.
Scream 257.
I
just
know
let
you
me
will.
know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But if you want new, dig down into the bottoms of Tubi, get on YouTube, get on Shudder, get on these places
Get on
where they
Shudder.
have a platform, and quit going to here's what's popular. Dig down, find something that maybe doesn't have a lot of ratings. Just because it has 1 star just means not a lot of people have seen it too.
Mhm.
Not that it's a bad movie. So that's my soapbox for this, because I really did enjoy the movie making aspect of this
Oh,
film.
good.
So
That makes me very happy that you enjoyed it on that aspect because that's where I was going with this movie.
Yeah. I think that's the main
Yep.
point of
That's the
this
takeaway
film.
for
Yeah,
this
it really
episode
is.
and this movie is that independent movies are hard. Making movies is hard.
Oh yeah,
Making movies
even
on a budget
millions of
is
yeah.
impossible, and these guys did it.
I couldn't imagine making movies like Avatar or anything like that. I mean, to me, that's just
Well, I don't even know
mind-boggling.
how it gets.
Exactly. That I have no concept. I don't have a concept of independence, but I have a glimpse. I have, I see people that are like me that just went, I'm going to go make a movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to go do that now. I wanna
Avatar
go
had
make a
an unlimited budget. These guys had a
Yeah.
hard budget, had a stop
yeah.
budget.
But I
Like-
meant the
like Evil
difficulties
Dead,
in
you had a
filmmaking.
budget and you're done, and then you got to go raise more money for it.
You got to sell your car and your
Right.
blood and other
Right.
bodily fluids,
Right.
and
And
you
get
get that
more
movie
investors.
made.
Yeah.
You know, it's totally fine. You have children in another state that you have no
Telling me
idea
I
who they
can
are.
Sell my fluids to make a movie.
Sell your children.
You really can.
What? Don't sell your children. I'm sorry.
No, I'm gonna sell my fluids.
Ooh.
That's right.
They're not children yet.
How- Ew.
Oh, and I think we're going to end that episode on that note right
I
there.
think that's a really good idea, Charlie.
I think it's perfect.
Well, wait! Before we end,
What?
Pete's got to reveal his next movie.
Oh, that's right.
Forgot about that.
I
Let me
did
get
too.
the old Google out. I'm not gonna know what the hell it is.
All right, so I think, boy, I don't know if am I 0 for 2 or 1 for 3 or I don't know what's going on here.
I don't
It
know what the
doesn't-
spread is yet.
I don't know what it is. So far, there's mixed reviews on my selections this month so far. Frankly, I do not give a shit. If you give me this month again next year, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just throw some shit.
But at least now I'll know
right,
what to
right.
expect.
You don't
kind of
well,
go.
well, you don't
in.
know. I might pull something like Train from Busan out. Probably not.
That'll be fine.
I know. It's got too much. It's got too many accolades and too many people have seen it. So anywho,
Yeah, it no longer meets the requirement.
right. We will probably. I want to bring films to this show that we will probably not get to. So
That's what I expect.
that said, since I don't have a very good track record with you two, I'm going to allow you two to pick the next movie.
What? We're gonna
What?
pick the
No,
next movie?
I have
that's just what we
two-
do in general.
I have 2 movies. No, I have
Oh, he
2
gives us
movies,
two to
Oh,
pick.
okay.
Okay.
Multiple
At-
choice.
and I'm not going to tell you the title of either of them. So,
Okay.
one
Are
movie,
you gonna give us a description and then we pick off the description?
one movie is almost 2 hours long,
Nothing wrong with that.
and it straddles the line between horror and action, and is really good. The other movie is about an hour and 40 minutes, also straddles the horror and action genres, and is batshit crazy. So those are your descriptions. That's all
right.
you get.
All right,
Do you want to watch
Charlie.
something that's a little long, a little less long? Do you want something that's kind of mostly good, or do you want something that's batshit crazy?
All right, Charlie. Let's think this through. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
Yeah,
All
the
right,
floor is
Pete-
yours, gentlemen.
Pete doesn't
Yes.
know adjectives. We've learned that. So
You're
now,
right.
batshit crazy.
Don't
could
challenge
just
me on this
mean
one, son.
Very not Power Rangers.
Right.
Now, also,
No.
2 hours
Batshit
long.
crazy is batshit
could-
crazy. I assure
2
you.
hours long could mean 20 more minutes of violence.
True.
That's true. It also could be 20 more minutes of wanting to,
True.
eat my own eyeballs.
Yeah,
That
it
is
could be
also very
20 more
true.
minutes of wondering why did he pick this. That's true. That's
Right.
true.
Yep.
But
Yep.
they're both kind of action and horror.
Mhm.
My issue is he hasn't proved he knows what action is.
Yeah,
So
and
just
see
because
that's
he
the
says
problem.
it's
Like,
action-
he
But
doesn't. That's why he's going to get a dictionary.
According to Nate, I don't know what horror is either. So
Yeah. So like he knows a teenage girl's life that parallels Nate's life of growing up, and then he also knows how to make movies. That's his horror.
So I think ultimately, do both movies have camera shots of female butts going upstairs and or just randomly happening?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay,
all right.
so we're at least on brand.
So yeah, both
do-
movies have some inappropriate content. Yes.
Okay. Do
Okay.
both movies have blood?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Okay. All right. I feel like maybe the hour
Okay.
40, but that's only because he used the word batshit.
That's
you know
where I've
what?
been leaning. I've been
'Cause
leaning
then-
heavy.
Then if it isn't batshit crazy, I'm gonna tear him a new one.
I like
Mhm.
this because then Nate goes batshit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like the use of batshit. I don't have to invest in as much time if I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah, a whole 10 minutes you don't have to
And-
invest.
Well,
Yeah, but
hour
you know what? That
40 or
10
2
minutes-
hours, that's 20 minutes, sir.
Okay, all
I
right.
can
That's fair.
nap.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I say we go batshit.
Is that our final answer? So
Final
the
answer?
hour 41.
You
Yeah.
That's
you want
batshit crazy,
We want batshit crazy.
and it
Oh, boy.
better be batshit crazy. Look me in the eyes, Pete. Look me in my cold, dead eyes.
All right, so we were going to do Yakuza Apocalypse, but your decision has steered us to Robogeisha.
Oh, Robogeisha.
Robogeisha.
I have not seen it, but I am
No,
aware of it.
Nobody has seen this movie.
I am aware of it though because it gets brought up in
it
a lot
it
of
is it is in the Meatball Machine, Tokyo Gore Police, Frankenstein Girl versus Vampire Girl. It is that Tokyo Splatterfest. This movie is batshit crazy.
All right, Charlie. He used the word splatter.
And-
when there's no
and
splatter, just be
it
ready
is-
for that.
It has some incredibly inappropriate things happening in it, I assure you.
because of the other movies he's relating this to.
I know,
Because
I know.
of
I know my
you
history
know,
is not good.
yeah, but I meant I know the level of these other movies, and this has to. He can't this isn't like the Power Ranger situation. This
That
movie
was missaid. Yes,
Exactly. This one because he's equating it to the Meatball Machine and Tokyo Gore Police, which Charlie has watched. So I feel a little bit better with this selection because this is the movies I was expecting from Pete.
All right, we can rent it
So-
for $3 on Vudu. If I
Well-
don't like it, I will be asking for $3 and
I will happily give you $3 if this is not your thing.
This
Right.
is a gentleman's handshake over the internet right now that I will be getting $3 back if I don't like this movie.
I will give you $3 regardless, Nate.
No.
I-
No. Only if I am mad at you do I
I
get $3.
I charge interest, so it's
Will
gonna
you
be
give
like,
me $3 if you like it?
You know what? A bet's a bet. Yes.
I tell you, I'm gonna need about $3.50. That's what I'm
$3.50?
gonna need. I
That's
will need
about the moment I realized that Charlie was the goddamn Loch Ness monster.
There you go.
Damn it, Pete! You gave him 3, did he?
You come over.
There you
he asked
go.
for $3.50. All right.
Gave
We're
him
gonna wrap this-
$3.50.
We're gonna wrap the first Pete month up with Robogeisha, baby.
Fantastic. It's
It's
the
not
title,
easy to find. You can find it on streaming. You can rent it, like
Yeah.
Nate said. I have a copy of it.
The title fits what I expect from Pete.
Yeah.
I know the genre. I'm actually
Yeah.
excited for this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
so-
one
Yeah.
feels like maybe we're
Yeah.
gonna get the right thing.
We're just
I
gonna-
hope.
we've come to a crescendo.
I hope this is our crescendo of the month of Pete, which we will finish out next week. So if you guys have stuck along all February, please don't let the numbers drop.
One more week, Charlie. Just one
One
more
more
goddamn
week.
One more week.
One
come
more
on.
week, and we Nate and I have already prepped up March, so we got some
You
great
both
stuff coming
like
out in
this
March.
movie, damn it.
You know, we
Yeah, I know.
did.
I was like giving you shit.
Yeah.
I know. I
It-
love it.
It
Give
still
me all
doesn't
the shit.
change that it doesn't fit the theme of the
Fair.
show, but that's
It's my
fine.
month, bitches.
That don't mean we're doing
It's
Footloose
the
though.
misdirect
this
that
is a
you
good
get
point,
me.
yeah.
God, why can't we do Footloose?
No, we're not doing Footloose. We're not.
One
The
day.
closest we're going to get to Footloose is watching Saw. So everyone, thank you for checking out. Thank you. Again, you guys forget, I'm pretty quick. Thank you everyone for tuning
Well
in this
done.
week. If you want to continue with the madness that we do, and as we're recording in our Facebook groups, Nate literally has a poll about crinkle cut fries. So you're missing all the fun that we have going on over at the Facebook group. And give me back
All right,
my
I want to
horror
let it be
movies.
known that polls are absolute bullshit. They
He's
do
getting
not count
ratioed.
for
Crinkle cut
shit.
fries are the bomb diggity.
He is
I
getting
am
so ratioed on the
Next
poll.
to two assholes that think crinkle fries are worth a damn.
Crinkle fries.
It's the crispy to the potato ratio
Bingo.
that you get.
Steak fry is so much better.
Who said steak fries? You say steak fries are better?
Yes.
Why don't you
What's
just
wrong with
eat a baked potato? You monster!
Any-
Why would you eat
any
steak
fry.
fries?
It goes steak fry, it goes curly fry, it goes
Curly
restaurant
fry.
style cut fry,
That's monstrous.
then it goes
Dude.
being dead, and then it's crinkle fry.
Number one is fresh cut fries fried in peanut oil, sir,
Mm.
and it will never not be that with
You-
fresh cracked
listen,
salt
audience.
right on top of it.
You got a good point. That's-
Just email us. What is your preferred French fry? Just go ahead. Email us your preferred French fry. Pick a French fry horror movie, for God's sake. I don't give a shit
Ooh.
anymore.
There's got to be. I'm looking up right now. There's got to be our.
And I
French
haven't.
fry horror movie.
That reminds me, we haven't dropped that, but you can always email us at gmbmampod@gmail.com. So tell us your favorite fry, or jump into group and ratio Nate a little bit more in the poll. Also, you can go check us out at Give Me Back My Action Movies, the Facebook group. Both pages are on Instagram as well with the horror in action. We are on TikTok. We are on Twitter. We are on YouTube. So tons of places to find us. And we hope you do. And please share us out too. If you know someone that loves insanity, share it. Let them enjoy in on it. Also, please go check out all of our other shows on the Give Me Back My Podcast Network. We have Pete's very own show, Good Beer, Bad Movie Night.
Hey.
Why he brought these movies to us and didn't put them on his own damn show, I'll never know, but it's fine. we could have covered Spawn over here, and you could have covered Raw over there, and Kathleen could have went ooh for an hour. It's totally fine. Also, go check out Monster Movie Stomp Down and
Yes.
Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling. Fantastic shows we got going on there. So, gentlemen, We're done.
Start your engine. Oh, wait.
75% through the month. So here we're good here. Pete, you want to get us out of here with the good word?
Action!
Now, let's talk about how I get back home.
Or
Action!
Either one, I'll pull whichever one works best.
No, I was hoping he was going to keep doing it.
as soon as you said that, I'm like, wait. And then I went, oh, I need to say action. And then you said, you got to say action. Like, God damn it.
Yep.
Get out of my head.
There's no other line.
Right.
It's
There
that
really
one.
isn't. Oh, it's so, when he runs out of that side, and he pretty much, as you found out in the third act, he gets thrown out of there.
Yeah, he
runs
gets
into the actress
shoved.
going, action. It was so good.
Right as they start going up the stairs to the rooftop, and he just comes almost tripping out. Action!
Action. So good.
And the whole beginning of the movie, I'm mad at him because he's trying to kill people. It's hilarious.
Right.
That's-
Oh,